So the obvious answer is yes. The question now is, will Mbappe continue to be the main man in Paris? Now, he was unquestionably their most important player this season, not just improving his production, but virtually doubling his production, more than twice as many Ligue 1 goals as the previous season, nearly twice as many goals in all competitions, and with Neymar and Cavani missing half the season through injuries, Paris still scored about the same number of goals in Ligue 1 as they did the previous campaign, and that is specifically because Mbappe embraced and thrived under this added responsibility. Now, if he doesn't get himself suspended for about 3 games in the latter part of the season, he probably would have had a very realistic shot at beating Messi to the Golden Boot. But the fact that he was even in that contention at 20 years old is astonishing. And the question also becomes, how well does he handle the new responsibility? Does he develop as a leader beyond his individual production? Now that he's had a taste for being the main man, can he also be a team player? And that's not meant to be a provocative question. His comments during the Ligue 1 Awards suggested that whether it's at PSG or elsewhere, he wants more responsibility. Neymar is PSG's most talented player, but he's not their most important player. The general feeling seems to be that he jumped out from under Messi's shadow and straight into Mbappe's. We often talk about what a phenom Mbappe is at age 20, but I think it's worth remembering that Neymar led Santos to the Libertadores title as a teenager. Back then, it was hard to imagine Neymar not winning a Ballon d'Or someday. Now it's a little harder to imagine that he ever will. I see 2 scenarios where Neymar can still win a golden ball. One, win the World Cup in 2022 with Brazil. That's the Fabio Cannavaro, Luka Modric model. And Cannavaro wasn't the world's best player in 2006, but he was rewarded for leading Italy to the World Cup. Modric certainly wasn't the best player in 2018, but he was rewarded for leading Croatia to the World Cup final. And that says more about the way that the award is given than it does about the players themselves. But for that reason, I think the most likely scenario for Neymar to win a Ballon d'Or, in my mind, is through the World Cup. The other scenario is to win the Champions League with anyone other than Paris, Barca, or Juve. That's because if Paris win, it's Mbappe. If Barca win, it's Messi. If Juve win, it's Cristiano. Which again says more about the way that the award is given than about the actual individual performances of those who win it. So I believe that any manager who is hired specifically to win the Champions League is almost certainly destined to fail. And no manager plans for the entirety of the season with the sole purpose of just winning the Champions League. And that's because you need to be more than just very good in order to win it. You also need to have a bit of luck. A bit of luck when it comes to the injuries, a bit of luck when it comes to the draw, even a little bit of luck when it comes to the bounce of the ball during the actual games. I think the league is a larger sample size and a better indicator of a team's real strength. Take, for example, Spurs. Are Tottenham one of the 2 best teams in Europe, or are they the 4th best team in England? Paris are undoubtedly the best team in France, but they failed to win either the 2 domestic cups, the Coupe de la Ligue or the French Cup. And that's the nature of cup football. And it's why I find it a little unfortunate that super clubs like Paris, Juve, and Barcelona are obsessed with the Champions League. All 3 won their leagues by double-digit margins, and all 3 have significant portions of their supporters that still see the season as a failure. And for me, that takes all the joy out of the game. Injuries to Cavani and Neymar sort of leave this one unanswered, but I've always taken issue with the question itself. Sure, there are signs that they're not the best of friends, but there has been enough harmony on the pitch between those 3 for them to play brilliant football together. However, I do think it's going to be a more fair question going forward, specifically because Kylian Mbappe seems to be suggesting that he wants that center forward role. And that does create some friction with Cavani. If you interpret Mbappe's Ligue 1 Awards comments about wanting more responsibility as wanting to lead the attack as the team's center forward, and I'm not sure where that does leave the Uruguayan. Cavani has been PSG's top scorer back-to-back seasons after Zlatan's departure. He led them the previous 2 years, and he probably would have done it for a 3rd year in a row if not for the injuries this season. But if it comes down to him or Mbappe competing for the same role, then that's usually not a battle that the Uruguayan can win. And all of that relates to what NBA great Pat Riley calls the disease of more. At first, players are happy to sublimate their own individual game to win as a group. But once they've won, everybody wants more. More money, more playing time, more recognition. And that's in direct conflict to the sort of sacrifice that helped them win in the first place. Areola played more games than Buffon, but I think we can argue that Buffon did in fact win the starting job for PSG, if only because it was the Italian who started those crucial Champions League matches against Manchester United. And it may be unfair to the legend, but I do think we can also conclude that that was a mistake by Thomas Tuchel. Buffon is still a capable goalkeeper, but he's also 41 years old, while Areola is entering the prime of his career. And in the end, Areola's career may, and probably will, pale in comparison to the great Gigi Buffon, but at present, Buffon's value may be more intangible, and he made some big, costly errors, none bigger than the one in the 2-0 against United in the second leg of that round of 16. Now, I wouldn't put PSG's Champions League exit on Buffon exclusively, but I do think Buffon was a solution to a problem that PSG did not have.